All right, welcome to another episode of Backyard Survival. Again, we're doing a knife review from a list on Amazon as the top-selling fixed blade hunting knives. I previously did the Morakniv companion. That one and this one here, the Gerber Strongarm, are back and forth between first and second. Every time I check, it seems to be one is different, so they're right on that edge there. The Gerber Strongarm is widely considered one of the best survival knives you can use for under $100. In Amazon, they're right around that $60 to $80 range, depending on the features and the colors that you get. But we're gonna take a look at that. This is the unboxing. This is how it came. The box was a little bit destroyed from shipping, but that's okay. It's steel, so I don't think it's gonna affect it. Owner's manual, which we all know men love to read. Comes in a nice little bubble wrap. Again, I'm sure it's not going to hurt the steel. So this is the Gerber Strongarm. This is the tan version, which I went with that, and there's a black as well as a tan. It comes with a sheath that's plastic, as well as like a nylon type net webbing here, which you can hook on a belt. It has buckles, or snaps I should say, for different applications. You can hook it on a backpack, hook it on your belt. These buttons come off as well, or snaps I should say, and then the snap which for retention of the knife is right here. When that snap is not on, well, it's in there for now. I've watched some reviews in the past that said that it came out very easily, and I do feel like it's starting to give a little bit, but there's no positive snap. This little thumb thing, you can kind of push it up. Well, that was in there pretty good right now. And there is the Gerber Strongarm. It is made in America, as the reverse side shows, made in Portland, Oregon. This one has some oil marks all over it, so I'll clean that up before I actually use it for any food applications. The rubberized handle here would be good, which stipling, which would be really, really good for wet applications. It feels nice and well balanced. It's got a full tang, and the pommel is actually angled. It's not a flat pommel, so would not do well for hammering of any type, but it could maybe start a hole on something that's maybe sheet metal, or break a window glass possibly. The handle itself, it feels okay in the hand. Looking at the pictures, I assumed it to be a little bit wider here. It kind of bevels in. I assumed it to be a little bit wider. My hands aren't small, and it does feel like there's room for a little bit more handle, but for the thin profile, it's not too awful. I went with the serrated edge one. They have non-serrated, they have serrated, they have black, and they have this tan is the current one they have at this time. So we're gonna put it through a few paces here. Again, this is backyard survival. This is not bushcraft survival, but some applications we might use around the house, maybe around camping, something of that nature. We'll test it out. So I'm gonna go clean this off before I use it for food, and we'll have at it. All right, we're gonna get started with using some real world potential backyard applications. We're gonna see how it does with peeling and then slicing an apple. It's a knife, I'm sure it'll do fine, but we're gonna take a look. But first, we're gonna do an actual real world application where you're actually gonna use a knife if you have kids. I have a bag of Swedish fish tails here, and if you're like most families in the world, and you get different colors here, you're gonna have kids saying, I don't like the green ones, I want just the pink. Well, then you're gonna say, wow, fine, how? Nice clean cut of that gummy. Here you go, bud.
Yes.
I'll take the pink. That's a real world application. Or there's one left. I needed to cut it into thirds. I mean, I have 3 kids, of course it'll be thirds. So I do like Swedish fish. All right, as far as peeling an apple, I'm gonna see if it, oh yeah, no problem whatsoever. That cuts through that. It's nice and sharp, came sharp. See that? If we need to slice a piece off, no struggle whatsoever. There's plenty of apples still on there, but we'll have at that afterwards. There you go. All right, next we're gonna see how it would do with opening a can of beans. Everyone knows that if you're trying to survive, whether it's the backyard or in the zombie apocalypse, green beans in a can, or any canned goods, is gonna be your friend. So we're gonna see how it does with opening and cutting that. I'm gonna try first with this pommel. I don't know if that's gonna do anything, but it gets us started. Indeed it does. That's a nice starting application there. Just a nice pound on there. You don't need to use, I was gonna use a piece of wood to get it started, but never mind. We're gonna get that started there, and then we'll kind of get that through here. I don't routinely cut these with knives, so, you know, I'm a little rusty on actually doing it without cutting myself. It's not a knife issue, that's for sure. It's going through easy. And obviously that's sharper, but there we go. No problem whatsoever. Doesn't appear to be any dings or nicks in the steel. That obviously can be a tough thing for knives to cut through metal. It'd be hard on the blade, but this blade steel is 420 high carbon steel. Not stainless steel, but it's high carbon. It does keep an edge well. It takes sharpening well, according to other things that I've read, but it's not going to go break on you very easily as well. So we're going to go ahead and try with just chopping. We'll have to stick here. We're just that's a thicker one. All right, chops that, no problem. Didn't seem to have any issue whatsoever. We're also going to try the serrated edge, which actually is used for cutting through thicker material or webbing, even metal, stuff like that would possibly help as well. We're going to see how it does with a sawing application. It's not necessarily specifically made for that, but we'll see how it would do with a sawing. Maybe you have a big stick on your tree you're trying to just cut down and you don't have a cut through. Not real difficulty. It is pretty sharp on that serrated edge, and it'll do the job. It's obviously not better than a saw, but it is what it is. And see if we just use the regular blade part. You can also perform a task that way as well, not quite as easily as a serrated edge, but all right. Stop that. All right, next we're going to see how this does with working the edge, almost like a whittling, or if you need to make a steak. This, however, is already a steak, but I'm going to try the other end, because who doesn't want a two-edged steak? Let's see. That's not real difficult. Again, the weight of the knife is pretty nice, which allows you to have good control over it in your hand. You wanted to kind of make a sharper point for making a steak. If you needed to stake something down, if you're camping, you forgot your stakes at home, this would be an easy tool to use to make a few steaks with some thicker branches. You can see it's just taking that wood right off. No problem whatsoever. Yep. All right, I staked my steak, and I think I would do a pretty fine job, and I can make it a little sharper pointed, but I could definitely use this in a bind, or again, if I had a thicker circular stick to easily use as a steak. And again, after doing that, the edge still, there's no dings, nothing like that. Still seems like it's relatively sharp. It's not necessarily cutting my hair, but yeah, it's gotten some off. So, all right, next we're gonna do an edge retention test. I did this on the Morkniv knife, and the tip broke. We'll see if this one's gonna do it. So in. So I'm getting some pretty good chunks of this 2x4 out, and that tip is still as sharp as can be. That'll puncture easy. no problem. Don't need the box, obviously. I really like this knife. Again, all in all, I would say that Gerber made a pretty good product here. The pommel, again, you can use it to open cans, break glass if necessary. The serrated edge could be used in different applications to get through bone, if you're processing some kind of meat or game. It is very sharp. The tip is very strong in this 420 high carbon steel. We are able to whittle some sticks, cut some food, open a can, no problem at all. The one thing that seems to be the worst is probably the sheath. It definitely seems like it could have been made much better. The snaps here have like a single, just a single thread, and it's like triple threaded there. Does not feel very strong. Like I feel like I could almost snap that, and without that it would be worrisome to be running around. This goes in, again, there's no audible click. It just kind of slides in, and I think that if I tried, oh well, again, it's not coming out. So maybe it's in there a little better than I expected, but I did see online you can buy other sheaths. They would run somewhere from 40 to 100 bucks for leather ones, so you can carry it a little more safely and securely. All in all, I think great product. I'll have a link in the Amazon description for this knife here, and thanks for watching Back There Odds Survival.